Hi viewers, my today's topic is auxiliary verbs or helping verbs. Auxiliary verbs are of two kinds, primary auxiliary and modal auxiliary. Let us discuss on primary auxiliary first. Primary auxiliaries are of three kinds. They are be, do and have. Be verbs are of five category mainly. You see am, is, are. For am is are, past form is was, and for are, past form is were. You know. And do verbs are auxiliaries. Do, does, and past form did. For have verbs, have, has, present form, and had, past form. Be verbs are normally known as to be verbs. Do verbs are known as to do verbs, and have verbs are known as to have verbs. In grammatical, you will get some points when you will do right form of verbs. Then there's may be written for be verbs, to be verbs, used to be verbs, and do verbs, used to do verbs, and for have verbs, used to have verbs. Now, I have a question to you. We know past form of is and am is, was, and past form of are is, were. But do we know what is the participle form? That means past participle form of am or is or was. Many of the students don't have the idea regarding this thing. Past form of am is are or was were is been, B-E-E-N. We have to learn so that it can be used in our day-to-day life. And for admission test after passing HSC exam, such type of question may come in the exam. Now, I am going to teach you modal auxiliaries. Modal auxiliaries are written here. You see left hand side, these are present form, and right side these are past form. Something is not written here, I will tell you later on. Shall, should, will, past form is would, can, could, may, might. For must, I didn't write past form, and have to as well. You see, I am writing the past form of must and have to same. It would be same. Past form of must is had to, and past form of have to is had to, because these two words indicates obligation. Now, past form of be to, there is no past form, so it would be cross, not in use. Past form of be going to is not being used, but you will have to remember what is be. We know that be verbs are those am, is, are, was, were, but am to, is to, are to is used, but was to and were to not in used in English. That means it would be am to, is to, or are to. He is to do the work, she is to do the work, I am to do the work. But we cannot say he was to do the work, they were to do the work. This is not a use in English. In the same way, be going to, that means am going to, is going to, or are going to. Was going to, were going to, not in used in English. For example, I am giving you a sentence. She is going to open a shop. They are going to play a cricket match. And for next one, used to and ought to. Used to, that means obhyash, and ought to, that means uchit. But these two modal auxiliaries are not used in present form. That means we cannot omit D. By omitting D, we cannot say it is used to. I used to, he used to. This is totally wrong a sentence. In the same way, ought to in Bangla, uchit. Sorry, uchit. Right, you are. Uchit. Used to obhyash, ought to, uchit. What's the difference between should and ought to? I am giving you two examples. Should, Rohan should love his country, and Jisan ought to love his country. Jisan loves more than first boy. That means who will use ought to instead of should? The first who used to, who uses used to, Jisan is using I ought to love my country, and Romeo used ought to, I ought to love my country. Romeo loves more than Jisan their country. Have you understood? Okay, next, but these are not used in present form. You see, cause is not used in English. For need and dare, these are two modal auxiliaries. They can be used as principal verb or auxiliary verb, normally auxiliary verb, but they are used as modal auxiliary in auxiliary verbs. Need, he need not go there. He need not go there. Not he needs not go there. These are used mainly in tag question. Very confusing thing. But if you know the use of need and dare in auxiliary, modal auxiliary, then you can easily make yourself correct. He dare not go there. Not he dares not to do the work. Need and dare can be used in auxiliary. If it is used in auxiliary, no s or es should be added with them. And these two words, need and dare, can be used in negative sentences mainly. I think you have understood all the modal auxiliaries, but one thing you have to remember that if you are to change from active voice to passive voice, if there remains any auxiliary verb, modal auxiliary verb, they can take or they will have to take be after them. I am giving you an example. He can do the work. Passive form. The work can be done by him. The work can be done by him. Be should be used in passive form for all the modal auxiliaries. I think you have got it. Thanks a lot. Thank you very much.